All right, we are live on a Friday night. We do our Breaking Cardboard show the second Friday of every month. That's a scheduled event. This is an impromptu, not scheduled event. But here in New York, when a big card that we're going to talk about is pulled locally, we have to cover it. I mean, this is not a New York deal. This is a huge hobby deal, and so. I asked the two gentlemen I'm about to introduce if they would come on. We could talk about what happened this week, and then a little tease. If that wasn't enough, another card came out of the same card store a few days later. So, and if we tried to sell the script to Disney, they'd probably throw it back at you and say, "Nice try." But it's real. It's real, and here we are. So I'm John Newman from Sports Card Nation podcast, and joining me tonight, I'll go in kind of top to bottom order. Mr. Andy Strong, he's the owner of Parlor City Sports Cards in Binghamton, New York. And below us, only on screen only, is Tim. And I'm gonna have you say your last name. Otherwise, once I hear it, I'll be good. But I don't want to butcher it.
Maybe.
Yeah. So Tim says me. Pretty easy, but crazy Polish name.
All right. And Tim pulled incredible card. Bowman Best product just came out. Most people know sort of I don't know if controversy is the right word, but some of this discussion and debate about Wander Franco. It was going to be designated a rookie. People were wondering, is it going to have the RC logo on it? Beckett said they're going to classify it according to them as a rookie, and then the whole hobby, took sides and debated. It's a rookie. It's not a rookie. It's numbered as a regular card in the set, I don't think it matters. I mean, when people, let's be honest, people in the hobby like to argue, about almost anything, right?
Yes, so, absolutely.
It's a great card. And we're going to get to him, but, Tim pulled getting the base card of that card is probably would be pretty good. Tim did a little bit better than that. All I have to say is Superfractor. I think most hobbyists knows what that means. 101, incredible pull. And we'll talk about that. But first, I want to talk to Andy. Plug Parlor City. Like I said, it's in Binghamton. Andy, kind of give us some of the history of the store. When did you open and all that good stuff? A little bit of the background there.
Yeah, so the store opened in 2005. It was called LJ Sports Cards and Collectibles. Leon Jike was the owner. About 4.5 years ago, I joined in with him. And about 1.5 years ago, I took sole ownership of the business. But I've been doing trading cards since 1989. Started doing card shows with my dad as a kid, traveling all over New York, doing the mall shows and the hotel shows and everything that we used to have around here. And just fell in love with it and have been in it my whole life. So we've been in the current location that we're in now for 4 years, and we enjoy it. I love it. Absolutely love working with the community and the card hobby. So.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, I'm a Mets guy and the Binghamton Mets. So that's the home of the Binghamton Mets. Always good I'm here in Syracuse. We have the AAA version of the Mets. So the best of both worlds, not too far away from each other. It's always great as a card store being in a baseball town. Even to go back when I had my store here in Syracuse from 92 to 97, I actually had back in the day, they were called the Chiefs then. They were at the time where they were the Blue Jays farm system. But we had some card stores, but where my store was in the village of Liverpool was actually fairly close to the stadium. And I'd actually have some of the players from either the Chiefs or even the visiting team that was in town for that week. I don't want to say week, but 2 or 3 days, they would come in. Sometimes the players would come in looking for cards of themselves. And, so I always made a point to check the schedule, see what's coming in, see who might have cards. And then, autograph hounds, would come
Oh,
in
yeah.
and ask for it. So either between the players themselves or the autograph kids and hounds, I had those cards kind of based on the schedule. So being in a baseball town as a card store, I'm sure Andy would agree, is like a
Oh,
big
it's
deal.
huge. Yeah, it's huge. I mean, especially with products like Heritage Minors, Pro Debut, Bowman. I mean, guys are coming in looking for that stuff. They don't even care what autographs are hitting out of the packs because they just want to take the cards over to the stadium and get them signed themselves.
I mean, you've had players come into the store too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've had players in the shop. Yep, absolutely.
And I've been to a couple Binghamton Mets games. And I don't know if it was when you kind of took over, Andy, but I know you guys were at the stadium too yourselves.
Yeah, we had for the first 4 years, I think 3.5, 4 years, they were the Rumble Ponies. We had a deal where we got all of their game worn jerseys and did some advertising with them and everything. We were in the trading card set and everything that they did. This year we decided we kind of opted away from doing that just because they haven't changed up the jerseys in like 5 years now.
Yeah.
So it's getting a little stale. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they do some updates and get some new ones out there, and we'll join back in.
Yeah.
Maybe
a couple shout outs. Ziggy No. Hey Ziggy, how are you? And Chris Ramsey. Hi, I love the podcast. Thank you, Chris. But we're not here. I didn't do anything exciting this week, like happened with these two guys, but appreciate the love. But Binghamton is had like you said, they were the Rumble Ponies prior. They've had baseball quite a while. It's a good little baseball town.
Yep.
And it's about an hour and a half, I think, away from Syracuse.
Yeah,
here.
Right about there.
Yeah. So I try to get there once or twice a year to catch a Double-A Mets game when I can. And
it's a nice stadium.
Yeah, it is.
Binghamton has a rich baseball history. Bud Fowler, actually, who's getting inducted this year in the Hall of Fame, played for Binghamton.
The Bengals, right?
In the day, but still.
Yeah. Yep. So it's a great little town, and I'm as a former LCS owner, LCSs are near and dear to my heart. We're seeing sort of an uprise of them, a comeback of those, and it's awesome to see. So now to Tim, I got to ask you before we get into this amazing pool, how long have you been going to Parlor City as a customer?
Oh, geez, forever. First, thanks for setting all this up and everything, John.
Well, thank you for coming on.
I've been going to Andy since you bought the store. I mean, I've been there. The whole collecting for me has changed throughout the years. I mean, I'm one of those autograph hounds that likes to meet the players and this and that, because you meet some serious names come through these Double-A games, the Triple-A games, everything. It's slowly evolved. I mean, for me, Andy can attest to this too. I wasn't the big I need to buy packs of cards guy until COVID hit, and I've been buying packs and cards here and there because I was more trying to find those singles to get signed and this and that. But yeah, no, I've been going to Parlor City forever, and it's just a great place to unwind, and you get to talk to people that all are just trying to have a good time. I mean, it's kind of what it is. It's its own little clique, and it's enjoyable to just hang out and relax and unwind.
That's one of the most important things about the shop is just people come in, they feel comfortable, they hang out. It's like I pulled the card I pulled today. There's 2 or 3 other people in the shop, and I said, I'm so glad those people were there for that, because when you pull, if you're sitting at home by yourself and you pull some big card, it's still cool.
If I was sitting at home, I probably wouldn't have been Wander Franco card cool.
Yeah.
But because I was with you and I was with the other guys that were there, it was okay, a little bit bigger.
It just becomes this big thing. Yep.
Yeah.
And I want to piggyback off that. That's a great point. In today's age, when towards the end of my store, eBay kind of came along at that point. It was pretty new, not the eBay we know it as today. And eBay's great. I call it a blessing and a curse. I mean, we can do
necessary evil.
Yeah, we can do 2 columns and fill both pros and cons and fill them both up almost equally. But it's great. I mean, it's in a sense, just speaking on the hobby side of eBay, it's a 24/7 hobby store. You can wake up at 3 in the morning and buy something without getting out of bed. And hopefully you don't do it by accident if you fall asleep with your phone and hit the buy it now. You hear stories like that. But, and as a seller, you could be sleeping and wake up and have notifications, hey, sold, and get ready to ship. So it's great. You can, it's made cards that maybe aren't always available locally. Available if you're a player collector or you're filling the set and that sort of thing. So it's a great tool and for buyers and sellers. But the one thing it doesn't offer is what a card store can offer you, even a card show, right? That in-person social interaction that you can't get, and they'll never replace that. I don't care how long it lasts, and there's something to be said about having a card in your hand, whether it's something, in this case, you pulled, or you're looking at buying something from the store and you have it in your hand, and even that bartering that you do with the owner of the car. Hey, will you take this, or could you do that? That you can't always get in, on a computer or on a phone. With someone you can't see. And when you buy a card or cards from eBay, sure, you got the scans and the pictures, but until you get that card in your hand, you don't know for sure. And
absolutely.
Well, I think we can also agree, like, we've all bought cards off eBay. Like, I got to get the Anthony Volpe Bowman Chrome first auto because he's the new guy to get. I love that I have that card, but I'm not attached to it. A few months ago, I pulled a Trout auto out of something that Andy had. It was the last pack in the box and everything.
Last pack magic.
I mean, I've got an attachment to that just because I pulled a Trout auto.
Right.
And it's awesome.
Yeah, there's such a difference between pulling and having that experience.
I think I'm just gonna buy unopened stuff and have Tim open it. Trout autos.
No, Andy's got the hot hand.
It's been crazy lately, that's for sure.
I mean, I'm only kidding when I say this. I'm just gonna buy wax somewhere, but just bring it to the shop and open it inside the four walls. It's a magic go.
As long as we get to watch and hang out and do it, I'm fine with that.
But
it's all about the experience.
I'm kidding. If anything, I'll go there and buy the box from you. But something else you touch on too. Something about being in the store with people who share the same passion and love for the hobby. I think it's for most people. I don't want to say for everybody. It starts with usually a love of sports, and so you can kind of even debate, whether, hey, this guy should be in the Hall of Fame, he shouldn't.
Oh, we have those daily.
Kind of, brag on your teams. Have even player debates. Who's better? All that stuff. Who's the real goal? And you can't get that from an eBay that you can get from a card show or an LCS. And
I think too, a lot of people right now are dealing with, the Facebook groups or whatever groups, and those can be great, but there's also so many trolls on there that, it doesn't matter how good of a post you put up, someone's going to have something negative to say. And you don't get that in the shop. You're going to, people rib each other. Of course they do. That's part of the experience and just hanging out and, making fun of guys and joshing with each other and everything. But it's some of the internet stuff. Sometimes it gets a little too much. And it's just like, I just want to hang out and open some packs of cards and have fun,
Yeah. And another great point too, Andy. I've been doing this a long time. I'm sort of like the old man on the porch. So none of this stuff shocks me or but if I'm a new person in the hobby, you mentioned like some of the stuff that goes on in message boards and the picking and some of the mean-spirited stuff, if you will. So someone new, it could be a scary place. Like it could
100%.
could be daunting. Like, do I really want to be in this hobby? It sounds, people are kind of mean.
I mean, you can get swindled really quick on stuff too at this point, because if you don't know what you're looking at, you've got a whole wide spectrum of stuff at this point.
Right.
Yep.
And
how many times have you seen
everyone's
the post?
autograph too? You go to these stadiums or this or that, there's these cliques that just stick to themselves and don't want to talk to you. And it's almost like its own club and right that you got to get into. But once you're in, it's so fun.
And I think we've all seen the newbies post where they get, someone, they find a 91 Upper Deck set or, something not, junk wax here or something like that. Yeah. But they post it because they're excited about it. And everyone's like, oh, this is garbage. Yeah. Let them enjoy it. There's different forms of entertainment for everybody. Not everyone needs the $30,000 card. I don't need the $30,000 card. I'm just as happy with a lot of my $10 cards. It's about the experience. It's about the enjoyment. It's about the friendship. That's what this hobby's about.
Yeah, no doubt. Well said. There's a story behind almost every card, every box
Absolutely.
you open. I can look at cards that I have in my personal collection from 20 years ago, and I remember how I acquired it, where it came from, who was there, who I got it from, and sometimes you can't put a price on that. The card may be $50, but it's worth more than $50 in memory. So
especially stuff you got as like a kid, the stuff you remember having when you were a kid, that stuff, it's gold.
That's why we're most likely still here. Even those that left and then come back, right? It's from those,
and that's why it's so important now to make sure the kids are included in the hobby. It's getting really hard because everything's so expensive and everything, but because if you lose this generation of kids, that's the future generation of collectors.
Yeah, I hate
so we
to
gotta
say it.
gotta make sure we're doing stuff.
I'm the oldest guy in this room, so I'll say it like, I like to live forever, but that's not how this works. So we need that next generation coming behind us.
Absolutely.
Well, I got two cousins that I bought them, I don't know, the opening day cards that came out. They loved them. Absolutely went nuts over them. And now they're buying cards every week because they're just hooked. But
they're just excited over that $2 Mike Trout as a $1 million card. To them, or any Mike Trout card's a big card. They're just excited to have it, and that's
Trout,
what's awesome.
Tatis, Soto, they're going nuts. Like they just hit the lottery. I got a Tatis card.
A whole new wave.
And it was hysterical because we're at dinner and they're opening up these cards, and these kids just hand me this card and they're like, "Is this guy any good?" And I was like, "Yeah, I think Ken Griffey Jr. is pretty good. It's a pretty good card because they don't know who he is. They're 10. I mean." That's where I'm feeling old. That Ken Griffey Jr. is now the guy that nobody knows who he is.
And Andy, kids that's a huge thing with me and Sports Card Nation. I started as a 7-year-old kid. I love seeing kids in the hobby, and you're right, things are pricey for them, but there's ways that they can stay in the hobby. You got your bargain boxes, you got your lower scale wax products. Maybe the company, we got Fanatics now coming into the space. Maybe they'll bring some fresh perspective. I don't want to go off on a tangent there. We can do a whole show on that. But maybe they can do a little bit more with some of those guided products and put some more stuff in there.
Because they can put out a product and all they have to do is do things like the short prints that doesn't cost the company anything extra, but one of these short prints and stuff like that. But let people know, okay, hey, this is opening day, whatever it is. We're making a ton of it. So it's going to be cheap, but it's made for kids. It's not supposed to be $1 million product. That way, when you walk into Walmart, people aren't fist fighting over a box of cards that really, what are you going to get out of that box anyway? Just get it and give it to the kids,
Well, heck, that started with fist fighting, and a couple months ago we had shots fired. So
crazy,
so it is.
I don't own one card worth that.
So, and comment from John Keating from the 70s Card Show podcast, a friend of mine. He says
not wrong,
yeah, they are. It's amazing what some of these kids are walking around in their boxes at shows. It's
absolutely
it's almost scary. But
for us when we were kids, the $10 card was huge.
Yeah,
$10 card, you're like, look what I got.
If I had $10, I felt like Rockefeller.
Now
you also got to think there wasn't these one-of-one cards going around. There wasn't this. There wasn't that. I mean, it was all just, here's the rookie card. Here's this. Here's that.
Very simple.
And
very simple.
So many variations that everyone's collecting here and there. And that blowout form I was reading because they got the whole debate on Wander Franco's the rookie card there. It literally turned into, is a hot dog a sandwich? I mean, that's the whole conversation.
It reminds me, remember the picture of the dress, and it's like, is it blue or is it gold?
That's exactly what's going on over this card.
It's like that. But let's talk about the card in question. Tim pulled the 1-of-1 super. I almost called it Super Franco. It
Hey,
is a
let's go
super.
with it.
It is
Yeah.
a Super Franco.
It's the Super
Super
Franco. I like it.
Fractor. And I mean, just an incredible pull. I hope I'm wrong for your sake. Might probably, most likely, maybe never pull anything that's going to top that. It's all downhill from here, Tim. But
Yeah, I've
you
officially
peaked.
peaked.
You peaked too soon. But but if you're gonna peak too soon, this is one heck of a card
Yep.
to peak on. And so I think that everyone wants to kind of hear how did this all happen? Kind of, you don't have to make it a 2-hour movie, but kind of in your words, talk about how this all
Well,
went
it's
down.
probably the most anticlimactic supercard pull you'll ever have.
It's a great story, though.
I was hanging out at the shop, just like we were saying, blowing off some steam, just hanging out. And the one guy walked in, he's working on the Bowman Best refractor set. And Andy's trying to help him out. He's, okay, I'll open up a few boxes here or there. So next thing you know, he just pulls out the Jared Kelnick redemption card out of it. And he's like, all right, I'd like to have that. Let me press
I'm
my
gonna
luck.
stop you right there, real quick, Tim. Just for a little humor. As a Mets guy, I love Jared Kelenic, but
I
the
was
problem
so
is,
upset about that.
yeah, that trade. Me and my son, when the trade first went down, my son actually liked the trade, and I said, his name's Jordan, and I said, Jordan, mark my words, and I hope I'm wrong because we don't have him anymore. We're gonna really be sad about this deal.
Yep.
And he
Well,
said,
we were
"No,
all
we're
upset in
getting
Binghamton.
Cano, we're getting Diaz.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be all right." And I'm like, "Well, a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, you want to talk about the Kelenic deal?" And he goes, "Yeah, we got rooked." So he came around. So anytime I hear Kelenic, it's like just ripping the Band-Aid off a wound and opening it back up. But and I know
Did that trade surprise you at all as a Mets fan, though? Honestly,
no, and that's the
That's the
thing.
sad part.
That trade would never happen now with Cohen. That's a
No, hopefully
Wilpon.
not.
That's a Wilpon deal. And so,
But we were all upset in Binghamton because he was supposed to be coming
yeah,
that year.
Oh yeah.
So we
Yep.
were excited. Oh, we got Kelnick for the summer to watch him play. And
yep. I like a mulligan. If we could get into DeLorean with Dr. Brown and
Yeah.
Marty McFly, just like nix that deal somehow.
Oh my goodness, yes.
But all right, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, you're good.
So the Kelnick gets pulled. Go ahead. I'll let you.
So I mean, it's one of those things that maybe let's keep the hot hand going. Kelnick card redemption's a nice card to have. I'll buy a box, and Andy tells me this all the time. And you're right. I'm saying it on camera. Andy Strong is right because I always go in there and I'm buying just pack here, pack there, pack here. Spread the wealth a little, see what happens. And he's like, dude, just buy a box. Just buy a box. Come on, just buy a box.
Because you're dancing around the hits.
Yeah. So today, bought the box, and I'm shuffling through the cards. I saw that I had an auto in the pack. So I'm trying to like pull it so the last card I see is the auto. And I'm just sliding the card. I saw a Wander Franco, what I thought was a gold card. I was like, all right, not upset with that card at all. I'll get back to that because I'm still curious what the auto is. So I literally just kind of placed it, kind of tossed it over to the guy who's working on the refractor set. And he starts going nuts, like Wander Franco Superfractor. Andy's sitting in his chair.
Joey Bart autograph. Joey Bart autograph.
Yeah, so I'm freaking out. I was like, all right, I got a Joey Bart auto. I'm happy with that. So Gary's freaking out, the guy that's with us. Wander Franco Superfractor, Wander Franco. And so Andy comes over. He's like, no, it's not. And it's like, yeah, actually, I think it is. But I couldn't see the 101 at all. And I'm thinking, in the wildest dreams, I'm never pulling a Superfractor, right? It's just, okay, Wander Franco Gold, great card. Don't get me wrong. But,
well, it's
really I mean, you've got half the story, too.
Well, the crazy part is, too, and the reason I told Gary, I was like, Gary, shut up. Like, enough. A week and a half, 2 weeks before, on release day for Bowman's Best, Gary bought 3 packs of Bowman's Best, and he pulled a Luis Rodriguez autograph, followed by, card right behind it, was the Mike Trout Masterpiece Superfractor. Was pulled in the shop.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Holy
okay, Gary.
smokes!
Yeah, oh yeah. So I'm like,
leave some stuff for the other LCSs, will you?
man, it's
Yeah,
been.
you just got to come to Parlor City Cards and Collectibles.
Holy smokes! So
It's
I
been
mean,
fun.
and I mean, if this Gary guy's yelling out, Wander Frankel, you better be right, because that would be a
Right.
horrible. Like I don't like I look at I like just like do a triple confirmation even in my own mind, and I'm
yeah.
very familiar with cards. I'm like, look, before I yell this out, let me make sure, but because that
Oh,
would
you
be a
can tell
horrible,
Andy
cruel.
or ask Andy. I
Yeah,
wasn't processing anything.
No,
Just
I
right
walk
over
over
my head.
and I might have said some words I can't repeat. As I look at it and like confirm to myself that this is what Gary's saying it is, I said some words and Tim's still kind of, and I'm like, dude, I don't
Joey
think you realize
Bardotto.
this is. Yeah, I'm like, this is a $20,000 plus card, and he's like, wait, what? What are we doing here? That's when it hit.
yeah.
We're
We'll
open for more than
continue.
that.
Couple comments. John Keating's also a Philly guy, so he's like, does Tim still trust the process?
Yeah, that's a
And
whole story.
Herman's joining us. Hey Herman, how are you? He's down in Georgia there. So, but here and that now you're this Gary guy. I don't know Gary, but he's got a 1-on-1 Wander in his hands. Not his. It's not his. I'd be like setting that thing down carefully. I don't want to be the guy that drops the 1-on-1 Wander. Right?
Yeah, I was the one who was actually rough with it at anyone. Once again, I just wasn't even processing what I was like. Oh, this looks cool. I mean,
shiny Wander.
Shiny, yeah. Ooh, shiny.
Yeah, definitely shiny for sure. Let me, while we're talking about it, let me. I got a picture. If you don't mind, I'm gonna put it on the screen so those that haven't seen it will get the full effect here. It's gonna cover us up. But there you go.
Looks better than us anyway.
Yeah.
The 101 is right in his hand, right where the bat is, right below by his wrist, is where it says.
And that's why I couldn't see it. I was like,
it is tough to see.
Yeah.
But that in person, that gold really pops, like really pops.
Yeah, and when they released like the spec sheet on it, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge Bowman Best guy. But when I saw the design of this card, I've yet to open any, which I'm planning to open some. But when I saw the design on this year's release, it was sharp. It was sharp.
Yeah.
I remember saying like, this is better than some of the Bowman Best we've had.
And they've introduced the lava refractors, which is just another. Now you got another version of each color, but the lavas are gorgeous. And if you look at eBay sales, people across the board love the lava refractors, and they are really nice.
Yeah. And maybe this will be, Andy. Maybe this will be where maybe Bowman Best will get some more respect with better design.
Right.
And maybe this will be the set. This will be the release that brings some more positive. Attention to
if you think
brand.
back to when Bowman Best came out in the late 90s. What's that?
Yeah. It's crazy off the whole rookie ordeal with it.
Right.
Because when I pulled the card, still not processing what's going on, you're starting to tell me like people are saying this is actually his rookie card and going on the whole discussion on that. And I went down the rabbit hole of looking on that. It's a 146 page forum just on
Blowout.
That specific thing on Blowout, and it's a huge deal. And I mean, I don't know how it's going to go from there. Maybe people say, okay, this actually is the rookie card,
right?
So
you're always gonna, it's like politics, right? And if your guy doesn't win, what are people? People are idiots, right?
Yeah.
But one of the comments on the forum said the three things that nobody's going to agree on in this is religion, politics, and is this the rookie card?
Yeah. I think it's true. And so back to the other gentleman has the card, and then you take a look. I'm assuming at some point you get and check it out yourself.
Yeah.
Suddenly the Joey Bart auto isn't that big of a deal
Hey,
anymore.
like
most people would be like, I just pulled a Joey Bart auto. That's pretty good. Buster Posey just retired. It's Joey Bart time. And all of a sudden I'm taking up a legitimate backseat to a 1-on-1 Wander. What did you get it in? I'm hoping. I just have this vision of it like falling out of someone's hand. What did you do
Well,
with it?
the
Like,
thing is, so it's Gary's got it just, we all have it just flat on the countertop. And then Andy starts doing the whole surgical precision. I got to put it in a soft sleeve. I got to put it in a one touch, and then it goes in the team bag. And yeah, so nobody was touching that.
It went
for
from
that
very
long.
unimportant to very important real quick.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, it was protected as much as we could get it instantly.
what do you think? I mean, what were some of your first thoughts once you realized what you had? Probably, let's be.
Have you processed them yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
took a
mean,
while to process. So, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. Happy in the store. We were all high fiving. I went home that night. I talked to Andy. I'm like, what do we do with this? Like, what do we do? So we decided, let's send it out to go get graded now. So I didn't even take it home. Like, Andy was working on it. Thank you for doing everything. You were working on it. So that day, Andy posted it on the Parlor City Cards and Collectibles page. You picked it up and went from there on that. And next thing you know, I've got people congratulating me like I'm a superstar. I was like, all I did was just open a Joey Bart out here. Like, calm down. So, it was this whole weird, I didn't really process what was going on at all. And then the next day, I keep walking in, and everyone's like, dude, congratulations. This is nuts.
Like 7 trips into the shop in one day.
Yeah. So then I was talking to Andy, what do we do, this, that, and everything. I was coming down to Philadelphia anyway to see the Sixers-Lakers game yesterday. By the way, I'm just going to say this. I, too, had knee soreness. Not upset about that at all. But was coming down to Philly for the game, and the Golden is spitting distance from Philadelphia.
yeah.
So I decided to take the card down with me. And it was funny because the night before I left to come down to Philly, I went up to Andy. I was like, can I take my card home? Like, is
He
it
asked
okay?
permission
You
for
gotta have
visitation
a
rights on his own card.
You got to have a signed permission slip.
It's like we had joint
from your mom
custody.
and dad.
So brought the card home, brought it down here, and it's currently at Golden right now, and we're going to see where it goes from there.
So it hasn't been graded yet, right?
No, Golden's going to take care of that.
They're
And
gonna do
they're going to overnight it today. It'll be at PSA tomorrow. They expect to have it back in their offices on Monday. Graded.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Now,
it will be in the auction is coming up, I think, in a week or two. That'll
So
be in the auction as well as the one that got
catalog's
pulled today.
I think February 25th
Is when it
is when
starts
the
or
auction
ends?
runs.
Oh,
And
starts,
then it
okay.
goes for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yep.
Now, you guys obviously saw the card in person, looked at it. I mean,
Yep.
in your assessment, you think it's got a shot at the 10? What would you say?
I think it has a shot. I think it
Yeah.
does. I mean, it's not, there's nothing that jumps out at you. I'll say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's got a legitimate shot at grading out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's
Fingers
be real.
crossed.
Yeah, no doubt. But at a 1-on-1 Superfractor, I mean, not that you don't want a 10. That thing is just on a whole nother level, no matter what. Right?
Yeah, and as long as it's not grading a 5 or a 6, you're good, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we see
it's not.
it's not an exact perfect comparison, but we see some of these PMGs from the night that are even 5s or 6s and 7s and bringing big money. And this is a 1-on-1. I mean, and some of those are even more than that.
Well,
again,
there was two.
It's
I
not
think there was
it's
a
not
red
a
and
fair
orange.
comparison.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a red and an orange that sold on eBay already for some decent money and stuff.
The red was what, $8,000? Something like that. That's a tough one.
Did you so you gave it gold? It's in Golden's possession. Ken's been on this show. Did you get to meet Ken at all?
Unfortunately, no.
No. He does a lot of travel.
Everyone's freaking out about the snowstorm down here.
Yeah.
So we went later in the day, and it was kind of this awkward. I thought there was going to be more of a whole ordeal with it, but it was like, here you go. And the lady's like really super nice person to deal with. I got a prop Golden for everything they've done so far. The representatives have reached out to me and walked through everything. If I've had any questions, they've been able to answer anything. If I've also had any questions, Andy's been a great resource to help me with stuff. But I just kind of handed it over, and that kind of is all she wrote on it.
So when you're driving with this thing, like, are you nervous? I mean, what's going through your mind?
I just keep even keel. It's another day. Don't get into an accident, because Philadelphia driving, as crazy as it is.
Well, I'm a New York City kid, so I know exactly what you.
Yeah, that Schuylkill Expressway gets crazy, but
you get to Golden, the building. How far away do you park? Like, are you do you run in? I'm being half kidding, but I'm half serious too.
They had security at the door, right? There's security at the door, right?
Yeah, so it's in this industrial park. Nice building, beautiful building and all, but just the most random thing to there's a hospice center over here, there's like a steel building over there, and this, that, and everything. And I'm just thinking to myself, the millions of dollars of sports stuff
crazy
in this industrial park is great. But I mean, it's a beautiful building and everything. So we went to the wrong door originally, because the missus went with me, and we got to the wrong door. The guy's full cop standing there, is pointing us this way. Went to the next door. They got a beautiful mural of Mickey Mantle, Pele, James, LeBron, Kobe, just everyone up on there. And so it was just this. Here's the card. See you later.
So when you go to hand it, you said it to the lady, right? Is it like you would see, like you don't want to let it go right away? So it's a little tug of war.
I had a little. I made sure to take a good, healthy look at it with my own eyeballs beforehand.
But he has the Bart Auto to hold on to, so he's good.
Yes, I do have the Joey Bart Auto. But that was the thing. So,
he will forever have the Joey Bart Auto.
I put a one touch on the Joey Bart card, because that now is a huge. That card, going back to what we were talking about earlier, I hope Joey Bart has an amazing career, and I'm rooting for the guy. But that specific card now has a whole new meaning to me.
Right.
Completely compared to, I got a Joey Bart Auto.
Right. Well, and if you had opened that box at your house, the Bart wouldn't mean anything. You know what I mean?
No, actually, probably more, because my stupid self would have totally never seen the 101. Been like, okay, Wander Franco card.
Yeah.
There's some people that would put every card in that pack, that even the base cards on eBay with this was in a pack with the 101.
It's got Superfractor dust on it.
So I got a question from John Keating, which is how much is a grading fee? I don't want to answer the question for you, but I think I will. I'm assuming Golden's going to kind of cover that to get it. They're not? Okay.
No, you cover the grading fee, but I think on that one, because of the assessed value, probably right around $600.
Okay.
Sure.
Which in the grand scheme of things, it is what it is. Yeah. So they'll just take that off of whatever check when everything sells, and Golden gets whatever they get and everything. They'll take that out of there. So
now, I heard Andy mention $30,000 earlier when we first started talking. What do you think? Let's say it grades a 10. Just hypothetically, and obviously that's what you guys are hoping for. I think everyone is, except the guy who wants to maybe buy it, but even he wants it a 10 too. I mean, if you're going to buy it, but let's say it grades a 10. I mean, what do you think this thing potentially did anyone from Golden or give you maybe kind of their thoughts on it?
They seem to be kind of up in the air. Yeah. I've heard numbers over 100, but I've heard the consensus seems to be, there's a lot of people that think it could do 50. And they're real serious about that. I don't know. And with the people, like you said, there's two camps. So if you're in that camp where this is his rookie card, this will be his absolute best rookie card. So I mean, you get two people that are in that camp.
I think the debate itself, even no matter what side of the aisle you fall, is actually going to help the card.
100%.
As crazy as that might sound, I really believe, because it's bringing attention. That debate's not going away tomorrow. That's going to rage on.
No, Beckett gets a thank you card no matter what.
Yeah. So the six figures. If that grades it, and what
Ugh.
do I know, right? I've only done this a long time, and that don't mean anything. If that grades at 10, and you asked me the same question I asked you, again, it's all we're all speculating. We're all putting on our thinking cap and just giving guesstimate. I wouldn't think six figures would be based on what we see with certain other cards are bringing. I wouldn't, based on the history of the card, that debate. It's Wander Franco who played well down the home stretch. Now he's going to most likely start and play a full season. People love to buy on potential. It's smart to sometimes
Absolutely.
do that. And I'd be, if it grades at 10, if you're asking me, I'll answer my own question. I think I'd be shocked. I don't want to say shocked, but I'd be surprised if that didn't hit the six-figure mark, at all.
Well,
know
now
Tim
that
hates
I'm
to
not
hear
going to
that.
sleep till Monday.
Yeah. Now, I mean, have you even thought ahead, Tim? Like, hey, it's going to bring decent money, whether it's 30,000, 100,000. Like, have you made any? Like, what are your plans? Have you spent the money yet before you get?
No.
Ask the person
The
behind
only
them.
thing that I'm guaranteed I'm purchasing, because the day I walked into the card shop, what the set that I'm working on and building is the 53 Bowman color set.
Yeah.
So the only thing I know I'm doing with some of that money is buying the Pee Wee Reese and the mantle.
We had like a 45-minute talk about it before he opened the box about the 53 bonus.
We really did.
And just man, some of these cards are expensive. I don't know how I'm going to afford them. Now we know how he's going to afford them.
It's funny how things change so fast.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Well, you have your first off. John Keating's on fire in the chat room. You got your first offer. He's going to offer 39,000 American Airline miles and a 338.
I'm only taking Cole's cash.
Yeah, it's the next big thing. It's the next big thing.
But
the next Bitcoin.
So, but other than that, you're going to work on obviously a tremendous set in the 53s. That Pee Wee Reese is an iconic card,
gorgeous card
in its own right. Many will argue probably the best aesthetically looking card potentially ever produced. And so that'll be nice. But I mean, did you know pretty much like this thing's gonna go for sale? Like, did you have any debate in your own mind? Like, maybe I'll keep it or hold on to it, and then.
So I pulled the card and I had a long. How long was I? I was there for like 2 hours after I pulled the card because I literally went through every scenario possible. Right, like there's a good chance down the road. One day you'll see this card back at Golden and the Wander Franco Superfractor is back on the market. And should I hold? Should I sell it? What should we do? And just the fact of the publicity going on with, is this the rookie card? Is this what we're counting as his rookie? Are we waiting for Topps Chrome 2022 to come out? What are we doing? I can't see where holding it right now was going to be a good option. But I mean, you never know.
You don't know, but I agree with you, Tim. I think now's the time.
Yeah.
Don't look back.
I mean,
right? You're not going to lose, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Me and Tim had a real long talk about. Me and Tim had a real long talk about just like staying even keeled, and that's why part of the reason why his big plans right now are filling in his 53 set, because like we have in our minds, like there's the safe number. Like we know he's going to get to this number, not he, it's all him, but he's going to get to this number and we know that. So it's like, as long as it's that number, that's awesome because he bought a $300 box. You know what I mean? Like, but like to sit and go, oh, what if it sells for $100,000? It's nice to have those thoughts, but like can kind of control that a little bit and say, all right, if it goes for X amount of dollars,
then I've tried. Don't get me wrong. Like,
I'm doing the same thing today now.
People say 150. You're reading people say, "Oh, 100,000, yeah, six-figure card, blah blah blah." Yeah, I've got some purchases in mind, or here or there, or what am I going to do? Invest with the money. Once again, the missus is looking for a nice shiny piece of something on her hand. So there's a lot to talk about and think about with this, but like Andy says, even keel, because no matter what, this journey just off of pulling this card has been something I never thought I was going to be doing, right? Like, I'm on a podcast about a baseball card. Love listening to your stuff, love listening to podcasts out there, but like, who would ever thought? Because once again, you watch case break after case break, and everyone always has the 101 rookie patch auto, Superfractor, this, that, everything. Yeah, that's great. That's online, because when I shut my phone off, I'm still pulling packs of cards and pulling nothing.
Right.
I mean,
I think one of the cool things.
Crazy luck of the girl.
I think one of the cool things this past, especially this week, because of what happened today too. But just like in the last 6 months, a lot of times you hear people say, "Oh, it's all the breakers. The breakers get all the good hits." I think the manufacturers are feeding the breakers the good cases and stuff like that. And so the first big card to come out of the shop was about. I mean, there's been a lot of big cards, but in the last like 6 months is I got a case of Spectra basketball came in the shop, and I actually sold it to a local breaker. John Carluck at Black Label Breaks actually bought it, and he broke it, and he pulled the LaMelo Ball 1/1 Logo Man autograph, which was a huge.
What's in the water in Binghamton?
So there was that one, and then when Metal Universe Hockey came out, I myself pulled the Connor McDavid Precious Metal Gem Gold 1/1, which was the product hit. That sold for $25,000, and then Tim pulls the Wander Franco, which is amazing. And then this afternoon, about 9 o'clock this morning, 9:30 this morning, UPS or FedEx, I'm sorry, drops off my immaculate football case. And I'm sitting there going, well, I'm not going to open that. Like, it's too much. And as the day went on, my self-control waned heavily. And so I said, there's like 3 guys in the shop. And I said, you know what? This is what we're going to do. I'm going to flip a coin. Heads, I open it. Tails, I just sell the case. So I flip it up. I go to catch it, and I miss it. Lands on the floor. Heads. I'm like, all right, I'm opening it. First 2 boxes were okay. Hit a Marino auto. I grew up a Marino fan, so I was pretty pumped about that. And then last card in box number 3.
Yeah, you texted me that today. I was like, no way.
I'm gonna put that's awesome that you have it on screen. I'm gonna put, if you don't mind, I'm gonna even blow it up even more. There we go.
Absolutely. Isn't that insane?
RPA Shield patch auto. That is insane.
Like this, those cards came out in the same week.
I don't have the checklist in front of me, Andy, but that's arguably probably the best card you can get out of this product.
That's him or Mac Jones, I would say. Him or Mac Jones.
I think Mac Jones had a great year,
but and Lawrence has a better upside.
Didn't have a great year, but it's 1 year. I mean,
I'll tell you what. For what Lawrence had around him this year and the mess of a coach that he had and everything, he didn't do horrible. I've seen, there's been, Peyton Manning's rookie year wasn't any better.
Yeah, well, Troy Aikman had a brutal rookie year. Like, it's, people, anyone that's like dumping Lawrence's, that, they should learn by past experiences from quarterbacks.
I was wrong on Burrow. I know that. Yeah. I thought he was going to be good, and then he got that injury, and I'm like, who comes back from that?
Yeah, the guy when we talk about quarterbacks, I don't want to make this a football show, but I wasn't a big Kyler Murray fan coming out of the draft. I'm like, Arizona's reaching at one. He might have some games here and there, but and so far he's proven me.
He's been good. I still worry about guys like him and Lamar. Can they play 10, 15 good years in the league?
That's true.
That's what we got to wait and see. Yeah. Hopefully, it's better for the game.
Oh, I thought he was going to be sort of a bust. I thought he was going to be close to a bust. Maybe not a complete bust. I thought.
Yeah, he's definitely been better. So was Lamar. Yeah. Lamar's been a lot better than I thought he would. I'm just waiting to see what the longevity is. But realistically, that's going to be top 3 or 4 Trevor Lawrence rookie cards that exist. Flawless would be number 1, I would imagine. And the NT patch, shield patch will be probably the top 2. And I would imagine this falls in about number 3 for all Lawrence cards.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question, Andy, but I'm gonna answer it for you first, and then get you. So the question is, like, do you sell that now, or do you hold on to it? If it was me, I'm putting that away right now. I don't think now's the time to sell that. I think I use a term called marinate. I'm letting that marinate a little bit.
Me being very impatient,
Yeah.
that card will be in Golden's hand on Monday afternoon.
Okay. All right.
See,
So,
Well,
I could have just made one trip with both cards.
I know, because I just opened it a day earlier. You know.
You should just should have rent a house in
Yeah.
where's it, New Jersey?
Yeah.
Well, Tim would just buy a house down there. We could just stay there.
But
Depending on this card goes, we'll see.
how about that for a week? Huh? Like
It's just insane, absolutely insane. You know, and
Now,
I mean, you never know. You just
talk
never
a
know.
little bit about that, Andy. Like, when did you see it? Like, did you know that? Like, when did you realize? Like, holy crap! Look what's in this.
So, you open it slow and everything, and I just was kind of, you flip it and don't look at the bottom card and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so I'm just pulling them one card at a time, and you see like, all right, looks like it might be an RPA, and then you start sliding it, and first thing I saw was the Jaguar helmet. I'm like, all right, cool. I just got a Lawrence RPA, and then you slide it down just about that much more, and it's like, oh my God, this is the NFL Shield, which is going to be a 101. What's interesting though, the only downside I'll say is compared to, like, you were asking about condition on Tim's, like that thing to me looked really clean. This has got the standard Panini condition. It's a thick card.
Well, the thick cards,
maybe an 8, 9 maybe, but
well, the thick cards are famous for that. And again, this is going to be another card where not having the exact 10 is not going to be
right. We can find another one.
Deal break. So you saw the Jaguar helmet before you saw the Shield, and that
right, because I was kind of coming down at an angle, so I was kind of coming down from here, so I see that first, and then it was like right afterwards you start seeing that, and that's when the freak out starts. I started doing like the little Winnie the Pooh happy dance,
like a nightmare. So a little humor here. The nightmare would be if you saw the Shield patch first, and then you slide, and it's like Zach Wilson.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Well, that was the thing. So
I mean, even that card would be crazy money too.
Well, I remember I was opening. I opened a box of Prism basketball this past year, and I opened the one pack and I see there's a gold card in there. I'm like, oh, okay, this could be good. And I'm sliding it from the bottom because I knew that's where, the team name and stuff would be. And it says Charlotte Hornets. And I'm going, holy, you know what? If this is LaMelo Ball, this is a huge card. And it was definitely not LaMelo Ball. It was.
Well, you had that this week too. That box you had the Kelnick card in.
Yep.
You pulled a red lava out of 5?
Andres Jimenez.
And it was like, oh, look, that's the perfect card to have.
Former Met, but
yeah, he was good in Binghamton, but you could tell even when he was in Binghamton, he didn't have the it that a lot of people seem to think he did.
Yeah.
He's a good ball player, just he didn't have it.
So a message from Gary here. He says that Trout Superfractor Bowman's best I pulled from looks like a cut. Now, is that the Gary that had your card in?
Hi, Gary.
That is Gary. Gary, also known as Ronnie Retail. Gary's got a lot of nicknames.
Like the Howard Stern show. Everyone's got like a different nickname.
Oh
man, what is going on in that? What is going on in that shop though? Like
everybody's got a nickname. That's we have there was one day, was it like last summer? I don't know if Tim you were there or not. We had 6 mics in the shop at the same time.
Yep.
I'm like,
so that's the hardest thing when you go
What's going on, Gary?
Into the shop. There's Star Wars mic, there's Bill's mic, there's this one. I mean, literally, you've got a whole spectrum of. Did you meet Mike? And then you're like, okay, hold on.
Wait, which one?
You couldn't do that if you set it up. If you put an ad in the paper, if your name is Mike, come to the shop at 10 a.m. All Mike's report.
Yeah, there's a support meeting for Mike's. But if you go through my phone, you can't look up anyone's name. It's like literally Star Wars Mike. It's like that's how everyone's in my phone. It's based on what they collect or just a way for me to know.
And even Mike, Star Wars Mike pulled. What was it? The Mandalorian thing where he pulled like a 101. There's Mike Sheevy. What's up, Mike?
Mike's for life. That's Buffalo Mike Sheevy. Mike Sheevy. He's got all the names. Last year. That's true. That was one of the first really big ones when Star Wars Masterworks came out last year. The day it came out, Star Wars Mike's like, you gotta let me know it's there. It's gotta let me know when it's there. So he comes in.
He was freaking out.
Yeah, and he's like, all right, I want box number 3 or whatever it was. He's like, which one would be 3? And he's like, tries to count. I'm like, whoa. You're counting wrong. if you're going to count boxes, this would be box 3. He's like, all right, fine. So he opens it up. He gets the Harrison Ford, Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, Kenny Baker, and Peter Mayhew, who was the Chewbacca quad autograph booklet numbered out of 2.
Yeah,
like it's insane the stuff that's come out of here. It's just so fun. And I've said it before. Like to me, like as much as I would have loved to have pulled that Franco, I'm as excited or more excited that Tim pulled it because
thank you. I'm happy for the Lawrence on you.
Well, but it's the customers that make the shop because it's so much fun in there, and it's just everyone has a good time. And
that's why like Mike loved that card.
Yeah,
when he pulled that, he was on cloud 9 forever.
We have a guy, his name's Bill. His nickname is Otani Guy. Everyone calls him Otani Guy because he pulled in 2018, he pulled an orange refractor autograph, Otani autograph from the shop. Wow. So he became Otani Guy.
Wander, I'm diehard Rays fan since day one now.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on at Parlor City, but like
it's fun.
Yeah,
but it's great. I mean, still, once again, you pull so much weird stuff out there, and okay, I got this auto, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. But you literally never know what's going to happen there.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the amount of times I come in, it's like,
for me is creating an atmosphere. Yep. I wanted to create that atmosphere of fun. Let everyone come in, have a good time. You want to open cards? I mean, I have had, you were joking earlier, like, oh, I'll get a case of cards and I'll bring it in. I've had people show up and be like, hey, I got this off eBay. Is there if I stand here and open it with you guys? Absolutely. Can I watch? Absolutely. I'm in. Like, I'm not going to say no to a good time.
It's nice you're like that, Andy. There'd be certain shop owners, let's be real, not you, but
I've had people pull cards in the shop and there'd be someone next to them. They're like, oh man, would you sell that? And I've been in shops in the past where like the owner's like, whoa, no, you're not doing that. Me, I'm like, go for it.
Yeah,
you're giving me business. I'm not going to sit and tell you what to do with your cards. And if you want to sell a card in the shop, go for it.
Yeah, it's nice you're like that. It's great to build that community. People love, people remember stuff like that. That
absolutely.
As I do. I got to ask you, Tim, too, with the Wander, have you heard from Topps at all? A lot of times with something like this, they don't want it to come out early because they're trying, they're trying to drive product. Like I always wonder, like when someone like big comes out soon, they're like, listen, congratulations, but don't say nothing for like 4 more weeks.
Nobody's contacted me from Topps or any other Bowman's list or anything. The one thing is people were telling me you should contact Topps and be like, what do you guys think? Is this the rookie card? What do you guys labeling it as? But I did watch the forum that I was reading from Blowout. I guess case breaks just plummeted.
Yeah.
As soon as, there we go. I don't need to buy the Tampa Bay race spot.
Yeah, the race spots went down by more than a third. And like within a day, the race spots went down by more than a third.
I'm laughing, but that's what does happen when things like
this.
It was
when I posted that I pulled the Lawrence today, I had multiple people reach out to me and say, hey, can you pull that down for a while so they don't kill the brakes? And I'm like, wow. Yeah.
What are you going to do? Like, you pull a card, you're happy, you're proud about it. Like, it is what it is. Like,
right.
It could come out. Awesome. It could have come out today, like it did, or there's stuff in some boxes probably haven't seen the light of day yet, too. So,
well, it's like that the Zion logo man from National Treasures that just got pulled within the last month. That's been out a year or something like that, or whatever it's been. But again, I just think it's cool because you have so many people. I hear regular customers on a regular basis will say, oh, they're feeding the breakers the big hits. They want those breakers to hit them so it's live. I've had 4 major 101 hits come out of the shop, like product hits come out of the shop in the last 6 months. They're not shipping them to just the breakers because I'm a small shop. I mean, compared to some of these big guys, I'm small potatoes and we're getting some big cards come out of there.
These are monsters. These are monsters.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not buying crazy amount of I'm buying a lot of stuff that I don't tell the missus once again. Oh yeah, it was only this much. But still, I'm not buying a crazy amount of stuff. Like I see people walk in for these case breaks or what have you. They're buying tens of thousands of dollars worth of cards, and it literally is a crapshoot. Today I'm going to buy a box, and Ask Andy how many times in the last year I've actually bought a box of cards.
Tim's right. I always say he's a pack guy, but I always tell him like, because he'll buy 2 of this pack, 1 of this pack, and he'll spend unofficially $180, $200. Wink, wink. And he'll spend, a couple $100 just on loose packs, and he'll go, I didn't hit anything big. And I'm like, just start buying a box. I go, instead of, right. Even instead of, if like you want to come in every day and drop $25, let's say, come in once a week and buy a box, because then you're going to, and yes, it's nice to get a pack of this and a pack of that, but you also, if you're spending that kind of money, you'd like to hit something good. So I'm big about, if you're going to open something and you can afford it reasonably, don't be, be responsible, but if you can afford it, buy a box.
Yeah.
Or a case, even better. If you can buy a case, that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I used to open a lot more, but I learned the hard. I wasn't pulling anyone or Superfractor, so I learned the hard way. Like I gotta watch how much. I gotta watch how much I open. But I'm open. Listen, if you're in the hobby, I can't think of anything much more fun than opening a box of cards. That's what it's all about. I mean,
it's
probably number
going down to the shop and just blowing off steam. We'll talk this week. The day I walked in the shop, I'm talking to Andy about the Pee Wee Reese 53 card that I want to pick up. We're talking about the Hall of Fame induction because that was the same night that was going on. And we're talking about what's going to happen with Ben Roethlisberger. And we're talking about what's going on. Is LeBron James going to play this week? This, that, and everything else. It's just great conversation to have that you're just blowing off some steam. That you can't
it's like
get
Cheers.
It's
else. Like Cheers with cards.
Well, it's like going to a bar without spending any money on liquor. And you get to go home.
It'd actually be cheaper to go to the bar.
So, but then all you get to go bring home is a headache. So, hopefully.
Wow.
Yeah, that might even last into the next day, depending on
exactly.
how much, so no, but well, congratulations to both of you, and
thank you very much.
I don't know I don't know what's going on in Binghamton. Send some of that mojo up here to Syracuse. We're not that far away, I talked to Suze, who works. If you know Sue, she used to be at Top. She worked for Beckett. She's at Golden now.
Yep.
And when she knew I was going to, I talked to her a little bit about that. And she said to me a great point too, like the lottery, right? When someone gets a winning ticket at the store also gets something too. It'd be nice. She's like, they should do that with cards. You know what I mean? When someone pulls something of this significance, wherever store should get something
I got something in the works, Brian. Don't you worry.
And I figured, but I'm not even saying you, Tim. I'm saying like Top should do do something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'd be okay
listen, they make Topps now cards. They can make
Topps is listening. I need a Harrison Ford autograph for my collection.
There you go. Believe it or not, we get a lot of downloads. So, and someone from Topps mailing list. I'm not promising you nothing, but I'll tag them in when I post on social media. I'll tag them in the podcast listings.
That's awesome.
Well, guys, thank you for spending a little time here on a Friday night.
Appreciate it. This was a blast.
Yeah, sharing those stories. Congratulations to both of you. I mean, talk about karma. And it was nice hearing you, Andy. It was nice hearing you say, like, hey, it's not my car, but I'm happy for my guy.
Absolutely.
And I believe in karma. And you're maybe another LCS guy would be like, man, I wish I kept that box for myself. And you're a nice guy, and then karma hits you today with the Trevor Lawrence
and
comes around, right?
Yeah. I think you guys should probably. I don't know. I'd probably take a month off from opening stuff. I don't think you're gonna just let that all sink in. And but wow, that's unheard of. That's
once again. The weird thing was, I opened up, I think it was Topps Archives. As soon as I opened the Bowman's Best, I bought 1 pack of Topps Archives, and there was a Pee Wee Reese card in there.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's all meant to be.
When is it? Well, I guess maybe I'm wrong. Just keep opening until it stops. Till you hit the wall. So, well, guys,
the card keeps going through. Keep opening.
keep in touch. I got to get down there, Andy, and check out.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
store
I'd love to see you.
for sure. And I guess I'll say keep on ripping. I was going to say quit while you're ahead, but at this point. But again, thanks for sharing that stuff with the listeners and awesome stuff. I mean, that's what it's all about. All like you said, Andy, all the stories behind the moments. You can't whatever these cards go for. The stories you can't put a price on.
100%. That's why I said Tim will be talking about this card when he's 80 years old. He'll be talking about it, showing his great grandkids his Joey Bart autograph.
Yeah, get back in bed, Grandpa.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we'll have you on again when you pull the next two big cards.
Anytime you need a guys, give us a buzz.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Success.
Thank you.